Hey, I'm Alice.
And I'm Jack.
And in this week's video, we're continuing our series at the Outer Banks, and we're taking you to the Wright Brothers National Memorial in Kill Devil Hills, North Carolina. You may know the Wright brothers were known for the first manned motorized flight. So the two brothers, Orville and Wilbur, owned a bike shop in Dayton, Ohio, and they became interested in flight and started experimenting with trying to create a machine that would fly, and that's what eventually led them to the Outer Banks of North Carolina. Because of the tall sand dunes and the windy conditions, it was really helpful to keep their gliders in the air.
Here you see the Welcome Center. It was actually closed when we recently visited due to COVID-19. There's a museum inside there that has a replica of the plane they used in the first flight. The reason it's a replica is the actual original plane is in the Smithsonian Air and Space Museum in Washington, D.C. So a replica of it is here, along with a lot of the tools that the Wright brothers actually used in building and working on their planes, along with some interactive exhibits as well to learn more about the brothers. And of course, there's these picnic tables if you want to make a picnic lunch out of it. It's also a bathroom structure which is open to the public, even though the rest of the buildings are closed. There's even a private landing strip on the site for small planes to take off and land at the site of the original flight. This sign is giving us information about Big Kill Devil Hill. This was a sand dune that the Wright brothers actually launched some of their gliders off of, and it actually had to be built up to build this monument. They had to cover the sand dune in dirt and then grow crabgrass and grow shrubs just to stabilize the land in order to be able to build this monument. You used to be able to go inside the monument. These busts of Wilbur and Orville Wright were inside the building. There was also a stairway up to the top of the monument where you could look out. Even though you can't go inside the monument, there's still a really good view of the surrounding city all around the monument, and it's a great place to get pictures of the area. So the hill on which this monument is built is 90 feet tall. And then the monument on top of it is 60 feet tall. Back when you could go inside, it was a great view. It's the highest point in the Outer Banks, and there's even a light on top of it, like there is at lighthouses in the area as well. And here this inscription going around the side of it reads, "In commemoration of the conquest of the air by the brothers Wilbur and Orville Wright, conceived by genius, achieved by dauntless resolution and unconquerable faith."
As you walk around, you get to see a lot of other things around the monument. You can see here one of the brothers runs along the side of the plane. The plane was actually launched from the ground. They built a rail that you can see here where they slid the plane along to take off. And they have this walking path where you can see these stones in the distance. Each stone marks how far they went on their 4 first flights.
So this stone is in the spot where they took off from. And then a short walk away is the next stone.
And you can see here that first flight was only 12 seconds long and they went 120 feet. And so they kept trying, and they have where you can walk by every single stone. So as you get to the next one, you see that they were up in the air the same amount of time, but they went a little bit farther, 175 feet. On the third attempt, they made it a little bit farther, although not much farther. They went about 200 feet. And then finally on the fourth one, and it's a pretty long walk to get there, so you get to really appreciate how far they went. So here you can see where they landed on their 4th flight, and this is the one they considered the most successful. They went 852 feet, were up in the air for about a minute. So when you look how far back that is from where they took off, it's really amazing. Something else I loved about this whole memorial is all of the photographs that they have. They have a lot of the original photographs, some of the original items. Something else that's interesting, you see here a hangar. This is where they originally stored their first hang gliders, their first plane, and they actually built this. They came from Ohio and they decided to stay here for several months. So they built a hangar for the aircraft, and then they built themselves a place to live. And we couldn't go in because of the COVID-19 restrictions that are in place, but you could look inside through the window, and they've tried to recreate it just as it was from the old photographs that they found. So here you see their living space where they had their small kitchen, their table, the place where they would have slept. It was really fascinating to see this piece of history brought to life. And then this is the other area where they have another replica of the plane and all of the statues. And I feel like this is where it really puts it into perspective, because you stand next to this plane and you realize the size of it and just how daunting it would have been. You see one of the brothers here pose because he would run alongside the plane as it was taking off. And then the other brother is up in the, I guess you would call it cockpit, even though it wasn't like that yet. But he's kind of laying there up in the driver's seat. I don't know what you would call that, but it's just really fascinating. One of the statues I found interesting was that of a photographer who was there to document the day. And I took a picture of it just because I thought, well, I'm into photography and film. It was really fascinating. But I actually learned this person was someone who was a part of the life-saving service. And he was actually hired to come out and take the photographs, and they have his name and everything. So that was a neat detail.
So all these statues are of the picture he took. Like, this is a statue representation of all the people in his picture. And they even have a sign out right here where you actually see how the picture was set up. And you've got, obviously, friends of the Wright brothers and people who came to assist, all represented by these statues as the plane takes off for the first time.
Another thing I thought was interesting was one of the brothers actually did live long enough to see modern planes, which I think is amazing. The other brother died at age 45 of typhoid fever, unfortunately, so he didn't get to see the work that they inspired, but it's just a really neat site to visit. So that's all we have for this video. I hope that if you liked it, you will hit that thumbs up button. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe so you never miss another one of our videos. And we'll see you the next time we're traveling through.